Hi, everyone. This is Bonnie Burd, and I'm here with Suzanna Kennedy. And she's an author, a speaker, an entrepreneur, wait, I'm not saying it right, empowerment leader, ascension coach, spiritual midwife, and co creative partner. Right? Did I get it right after I
Right.
finally got the words right? I'm
Yeah.
sorry, stumbled over that. I was trying to say something that it wasn't. It's an empowerment leader. I'm sorry about
Right.
that. But also, she does a sacred union reprogramming, illuminating your DNA. And it's really interesting and exciting. And she's going to tell us a little bit about what she does. And then after that, we'll open it up for questions. And I'm going to ask her a few questions. And so I'm just going to go ahead and let her take the floor right now.
Okay. Well, thank you. Aloha, everybody. Coming to you from Kauai, Hawaii, my little island paradise here that I've created. So, yeah, I have created a new program that's called Sacred Union Reprogramming. And it's to illuminate your DNA so that you can embody your creative genius. And this program is an evolution from another program that I've been offering for like 20 some years, which was called the Emotional Mental Detox. And what that was is I've identified the 6 core issues that all people have in common from growing up on the planet. And even though we all have the same core issues or core programming errors, you might say, we all manifest them or dramatize them differently, very uniquely for everyone. But because we're going all the way and working at the level of frequency, um, you don't have to remember what traumas that you had that are still there. You don't have to identify, what your subconscious beliefs are that need to be cleared. You don't have to do any of that. So I've figured that all out, and it's part of the program. And there's 6 core issues, 6 core programming errors. So there's 6 sessions. I call them reprogramming. So we deprogram or we delete the old programs and then bring in new empowering programs to replace that and create a new reality each time for how you relate to that particular core issue going forward. So the 6 core issues are the first one has to do with male energy. And so that would include your father, your brothers, all the men in your life. But it also could include women who had a strong, dominant male side, or you might even have that as a female. We all have an inner male and an inner female. So the male side has to do with logic and mental activities, processing information, and action, taking action. And in a healthy inner male, that inner male honors the feminine and uh, appreciates her ability to tune in to non-sensory, the sixth sense or things that are beyond the 5 senses, and gather information and bring it through, and then he listens to that and decides what is up for what's appropriate, because she might have a whole lot of information that isn't um, pertinent to what this issue is at the moment, and decides what actions to take. So that's in a healthy inner male. But most of us have a distortion there because that we grew up in this patriarchy, which is male dominant society that doesn't value the feminine and doesn't value the feminine aspects, the creativity, the intuition, the feeling, emotional side. And so within us, we could have a inner male that dominates or suppresses the inner female. So we clear all of that. And then the reprogramming is to have a healthy, empowered inner male, divine male inside of us that can then work with the inner female. And then the next session is about the inner female. And since she might have been suppressed and repressed and not taken seriously, she needs to heal all of that and get her self-confidence and then come into her empowerment so that she can do that wide scan. So the male part of us is really good at focusing, and the inner female is good at seeing kind of everything at once. And the two of them together, when they work together, really gets you both the big view and the focused view. And they're working with each other in sacred union instead of working against each other. And then the next session is about fear and anxiety and worry and panic and terror and all of those frequencies. And those frequencies kind of reside a lot with the inner child, because those frequencies and the inner child gets programmed in those first 7 years. And those, just like the rest of our self-identity, the first 7 years are so important. And so that inner child, there may be lots of inner children, because one of our defense mechanisms is that when there's a trauma, we disassociate so that we're not fully present when the trauma is happening, so that we can continue to function in our life. But that part of us that actually felt the full brunt of the trauma is kind of off in another dimension. And even though they're not present here, they still have a very good big influence. And so they can get triggered, when there's some energy that feels familiar to when they got traumatized, and they will react and respond, whether it's fight or flight or freeze. And so that third session is about clearing that and reprogramming that into courage, and for the inner child to come back to the joy and the discovery and the adventure and the playfulness. And then the next one has to do with clearing out pain, sorrow, grief, those frequencies, and replacing that with joy. And joy is so important to be in that frequency. And then the next one is judgment, guilt, shame, and blame. So taking all of those ways that we criticize ourselves and criticize others, and the patterns of some of us do things that we feel guilty about, and other people try real hard and really limit themselves because they don't want to do something that they're going to feel guilty for later. So that reprogramming all of those evaluations and patterns of avoidance comes in. And then again, you're receiving discernment. So in discernment instead of judgment, and you're receiving like this, I call it the advisor of integrity. So instead of judging, you're feeling into if you are in integrity with yourself and your divine plan. Because when you are in integrity with yourself, you are automatically in integrity with everyone else. So this really helps you to stay in integrity and follow your divine plan. And then the last one is about lack, limitation, separation. So, and really separation is at the core of all of this. So if you were to think of all of these as an onion and we're taking off one layer at a time, at the core is separation. So that illusion of separation is feeling separated from what you want. So that's what lack is. You feel like you don't have what you want or what you need or what you desire. So we replace that with, the frequencies of prosperity and abundance and wholeness and connectedness. And so those are the 6 core issues. And the course that I have, it's called Sacred Union Reprogramming, and it's starting on Sunday, September 17th, and it's going to go for 8 weeks. And I put a session, so that we can prepare and set our intentions and all of that, and then the 6 core issues, and then another one to integrate everything and celebrate and look at next steps. So it's going to be live. I have been doing the emotional mental detox actually since I created it so long ago. I turned it into a digital product, so people have been doing it themselves. So thousands of people. It's been a very, very successful program for 20 years. And but recently, on August 8th, 8/8, I got the inspiration to upgrade it, because I've been upgrading myself and I've been bringing in higher aspects of myself. And there's a 8th dimensional aspect of me that really wants to come through and bring through the highest frequencies and the new codes coming from the 8th dimension. So we're going beyond the 5th here with expanding your consciousness. So I'm really excited to do this live, and I'm really looking forward to it. And I have a few spaces left, so if you are interested, you can get a hold of me. It is at SuzannaKennedy.com, and then SUR for Sacred Union Reprogramming, but make sure you capitalize SUR.
All right. Sounds like an amazing, amazing program. I'm so excited for you. But I'm curious about your your guide that you're channeling. How did you come across, how guides will just sort of inch their way in until you start communicating with them and start teaching you and stuff like that. Can you tell your story about how you met this guide?
Well, I've been working with somebody who is very good at reading the Akashic records, and she was talking about, she actually gave me a vision of me being in my fullest potential. And so with that vision, I started to, align with it and raise my vibration into it. And it seemed pretty, very big. And, but then I had a Vedic astrology reading, and it said the same exact thing. And then I was working with somebody else. We were practicing some light language, and she said she saw the same thing. So it's working. It's coming in, and so now I can feel her. And she was the one that said, we want to upgrade the emotional mental detox, because so many things have changed in the world since I first brought it through. And when I first brought it through as the emotional mental detox, it was coming from my 5th dimensional self. And so,
Absolutely.
I've, been past that for a while now. So yeah, I'm really excited. So I can feel when she's with me, when she's in me, I feel
Oh,
it.
that's beautiful. Do you channel her in your classes, or do you just channel privately with her?
I channel with her through writing.
Oh, okay,
Yeah, that's
that's
how it
amazing.
comes out. Yeah. And
Cool.
light language. She likes to write light language.
Ah, that's beautiful. So when you first began this program, how did you begin to write it? I mean, did you just start with one modality and sort of like add another, or how did that work for you in the beginning?
Yeah, well, that was, way back in 1997. I had a spontaneous Kundalini awakening, and that like changed everything. And, at that moment when I was having it, I could feel the vastness, the oneness, the all that I amness.
Wow.
But I could also see, who I thought I was, like that self identity. And to me, it did look like a computer program. And, they probably shown it to me that way because I was teaching computers at
Yeah.
the time. And so to me, it's like, oh, that's just a program, and then I knew, even though I was feeling all this and connected to it, I knew that if the program was still in me, that I needed to get it out so that I could, be who I really am and do what I came here to do. So I was guided to a modality that worked really well for me. And I certified in that and then became a practitioner. And then again, when I started to work with people, the guidance would come through to change it up and do this and that. And it like totally evolved into something else. And they said, we want you to use your skills as an instructional designer, which is, that was the job I had in corporate America at the time,
Mhm.
to make this so that people could do it themselves. Because the way I was taught to do it, it was this whole big dramatic cathartic session that you could only do one person at a time. And so they said, there's going to come a time when so many people want this and need this. They're going to recognize that they're living these patterns, these unconscious patterns are coming out. And even though they might know what triggers them, they can't get rid of the triggers. So, they really, we want you to make it so that they can do this themselves, or you could do it with a big group of people. So that's when the emotional mental detox program was born. And, like I said, it's been out for 20 years and thousands of people have done it on their own. And every once in a while I do it live. But when I got the guidance to upgrade it, I wanted to do it live, because when I'm with the people that I'm working with, that's when all the guidance and everything comes through. I'm an open channel for that group. So
Mhm.
that's how I knew, the new would come through in that way.
Back, you said 1997 when you first got the awakening, Kundalini awakening. What were
Yeah.
you doing that activated that? I mean, was you in a class, or was you doing some sort of energy work, or did it just happen? I mean, I'm
Well,
just
it just,
wondering, you know.
yeah, it happened one Saturday morning. So it woke me up in the morning. I hadn't been doing any meditation or yoga or anything like that. What did happen the night before is I had a reading. So there was a woman that I had taken intuitive development classes from like 15 years before that. And I did, some past life classes and stuff like that. So my, annual thing was to have one reading with her a year, and it was that. And she told me that my contract with my husband was complete and that we weren't to be together anymore. And by this time my kids were in the, late teens. My son was going to college. And so anyway, and then she said, if I try to keep you together on the timeline, you keep going like this. And if I force it, you create a terminal disease and you leave the relationship that way. And I'm like, get a separation or die. Is like,
Right?
yeah. So,
Wow.
we went through that, separation. It was relatively graceful because by that time I had done a lot of clearing on myself and I had cleared all my triggers and, that kind of thing. So it was as smooth as it could be in those kind of situations. And then I moved to Sedona for 2 years, where I really practiced the emotional mental detox and did a lot of sessions. And then when I moved here to Kauai, is when I, created the digital version of that. And then, well, I didn't do that right away. Now that I think of it, I got downloaded with a new program that was called Divine Human Upgrades. And that was, they told me that was an ascension program. And so I did that for a few years. And then the guidance was, okay, and new people have awakened. And so you need to go back to step one and take them through the beginning. Yeah. So that's how I created it as a digital product.
That's pretty amazing because, in 1997, you didn't hear, because I've been doing this for 20 years or more too, but you didn't hear so much people just out talking about out in the open as much as we do now, because now it's every day. It's all most everybody knows. They might know a little bit about spirituality, or about different energy modalities and stuff like that. And so in 1997, that's a pretty amazing for you to go through that awakening and all of that, if you was to say to a friend or somebody who wasn't spiritual, what is happening to you and that you're talking to an 8th dimensional guide and all that stuff, they would be like, excuse me as I get out of the room.
Yeah, I was lucky because I had already been interested in, metaphysical type stuff. So people knew that about me. And, but it is, a lot of people that go through that have a psychotic break and end up in the mental, because you disassociate from your self-identity. It's not like amnesia. You just like, I'm not that. And, the personality changes, the values change. So it was, it was an adjustment for the people around me. And, it had raised my frequency so much that, I didn't resonate with a whole lot of people in my life. So
yeah. Also,
I was on a mission, and so I was really focused on.
With your frequency that high, anybody who has a lot of density, it would be like you're poking at their shadows, and so they would be like really irritated and not know why. And I've found that happens a lot too. With the work that I do, and people they don't understand why they're feeling irritated. But it's because there's something within them that they need to release, because your vibrations is raising that for them, but they don't understand that. It's upsetting to them. But way back in 1997, you really had to be,
Well, there wasn't, I tried to, read, try to find what just happened to me, because, the guide that came in at that time that was really loud and clear said, you're giving birth to yourself, just breathe. So I did the Lamaze breath, and that really helped me to move that energy, and it took about an hour and a half. So that guide stayed with me, and that really was a saving grace to me to have that guidance. Yeah. But, so I was like looking for, what is this? And the closest I could come at that time was, I think, a book by Ruth Montgomery that had to do with walk-ins. So I thought maybe I was a walk-in, but that usually happens on a near-death experience. And, mine was a birth experience. So,
Mhm.
but it turned out it wasn't a soul switch. It was a higher part of my own
An
self coming.
awakening.
Yeah.
Yeah, your higher self coming down into your body. Um,
Right.
there was Dolores Cannon back then, though. You could, I mean, but you didn't,
Yeah, I didn't
I
find
mean,
her then. That would have been
yeah,
great.
I mean, yeah, I was kind of like you, though. I was always into, into everything supernatural and, different. And I was all into the angels. I definitely collected all the angels and all the books and wanted to know about all the stories. Remember the guidepost with all the stories of the angels? There wasn't a whole lot back then to look into that stuff. But yeah, it's so amazing. It's so amazing to hear how your path has come along and how you began, first with the awakening so that you could understand them. They have to bring you up to their level so that they can meet you. And then after that, all of the amazing downloads that you've been getting to help people on their path, to let go of all the density that they're holding on to and stuff like that. It's so important right now because people say, well, you do your shadow work, let it go, but they don't know how to do it. How
Right.
do I let it go? What steps do I need to take in order to let it go? And so they really need a program like that to show them how to do that. And that's so amazing that you have created that for everyone. Um,
Yeah, that's shadow work is one way to call it. Do your inner work, you hear that. So
mhm.
deprogramming, you hear that. So yeah, it's all of those, just different names
Yeah.
for the same thing.
One
Yeah.
of my main guides is Yashua, and he always says purification. He
Hmm.
uses the word purification because that's what we're doing. We're purifying all of our physical and all of our light bodies. So it's pretty amazing. So would you say that anybody can do this program? Is it easy? I mean, is it when you're doing shadow work, you do have to commit to it. But I mean, anybody could just walk off the street and do this program, is what I'm asking.
Well, they need to be ready for it, ready to commit, which, one of the things that happens is because our self-identity has a part of it is a program to keep us the same. Its belief is that it has to protect that self-identity that we created in those first 7 years. And so when they're presented with an opportunity for change or transformation, that part, just goes into defense mode and,
Hmm.
makes all kinds of excuses about why they can't do it. And, even if they're like really want to do it, they might even, I've seen people create obstacles so that they won't do it. That self-identity program is really strong within us. And so it really takes making the decision from your heart, because, if you have found your way to hear this, that means that your soul brought you here and your heart and your soul knows that you're ready for it. So if you can stay there, and that's what courage is, staying in your heart, making decisions from your heart, no matter what the ego says. So,
Yeah.
so anybody could do it, but will everybody do it? And I who's attracted to me is like two sides. One is the people who they always want to be the best self they can be, and they just always want to go higher and higher and expand and expand. So there's those, and then there's the ones that the pain of staying the same gets to be harder than the fear of change. And so it's
Yeah.
like, I have to do something, I have to do something different. So, it works either way. So the only people I would say who I wouldn't recommend it for would be for people who have some, mental illness or taking like antipsychotic drugs or bipolar, because these frequencies are really high and they can trigger, like a manic stage, and then that's followed by the depression. So, yeah. And then the other one, what I
That's
would
really
say,
interesting. It's really interesting that you point that out, because not everybody realizes how important it is to be careful around people who have mental health, because they do experience the high vibration, and then they go down into the low, and then they don't understand why they would be feeling that way, and it causes a downward spiral. So you have to be really careful.
right. Yeah.
People
And then
who have
the other people that would do well to not take it is if you're in like a domestic violence relationship currently, this will empower you. And if you're with somebody who's abusive, their whole thing is about control. So the more
Mhm.
empowered you get, the more they want to control you. And so it can get worse. So it's best to get out of that situation first and be safe. And then this will help you heal from the abuse and make sure that you're never going to attract that kind of situation again.
That makes a lot of sense for sure. That's pretty amazing. So, what age group do you suggest take the class?
Well, somebody who is self-responsible, I guess, So I haven't seen a lot of, people in their 20s, but usually 30s and up. It's not that it
30s.
wouldn't work. It's just what I see, who's attracted, but it certainly would
Well,
work.
they're still doing, unless they had a really young awakening in their 20s, they're still kind of trying to find their way and figure out who they are and stuff like that. It's pretty
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah.
Um,
When I look at the demographics of who's attracted, it looks like, 34 is where it kind of starts. But that's where people are, they've been in the world. They've, maybe had a job, had a career, had a relationship, and they've seen, now they're starting to see, oh, I've got a repeating pattern here that I just want to stop repeating.
that makes sense. Makes a lot of sense. So what is the first thing I know that you have the 6 steps in the program, but what is the first thing you suggest that they do when they first come to you, in order to prepare to get ready to take the 6 classes?
Well, there's on my website, there is a free gift. It's called the Triple Flame Activation. I would suggest that they get that. It's a very powerful meditation, actually. It helps to clear the chakras and the meridian system. So our life force energy moves through this energetic pathway that the Chinese have actually mapped out. So those meridians. And what I find is that when you clear those meridians first, then when we go to do the deep work and call up what we want to clear out, it travels up, it goes up the spine, and then I have them breathe it out into a alchemical container. And so if they clear themselves first, and this is part of the program too, that's going to be what we're going to be looking at in week 1 is getting ready. But they could do this first to see if they like my style. Anyway,
How long? Oh, go ahead. I was gonna.
yeah. So they clear it. They clear their meridian pathways so that when we call things up, it just goes through without any resistance. So that makes it really graceful. So they don't have to remember the trauma. They don't have to feel it. They don't have to process it. It's just frequency. It's just energy moving out. And we put it in an alchemical container so that it's not out, to manifest in your life. So then we transmute it.
So how long is that meditation?
That meditation is about 45 to 50 minutes.
Okay. Sounds amazing. So yeah, people should go over to your website and check that out. And then you would know if you resonate with Suzanna. So is there any other meditations that you have out there that you offer people?
Well, there's meditations on my, in my store. I've got, stuff for inner peace, relaxation. I have little like starter kits, but if they're interested in this class, it's starting Sunday. So I get the triple flame.
Yeah,
and
give them the information on the class again, what time and,
Okay. All right. It is starting Sunday, September 17th. It's going to be at 11 o'clock Pacific time. And so that's 2 o'clock Eastern time. And I'll have people from Europe and the UK. So that's 8 p.m. in the evening for them. So those are the times, and it'll be for 8 weeks at the same time. And we'll be meeting in, I think, Zoom initially, but I'm going to bring it into my own place. That's not Zoom.
Eventually.
But it'll be the same kind of thing. And then we'll have a community. Again, it's not going to be Facebook. It'll be really private off of my website. So we'll have a community where people can talk to each other during the week, ask me questions, share their celebrations, their challenges, whatever it is. And I'll be supporting them through the week, and everybody will be supporting each other. I've got a few, quite a few actually, people signed up who've been working with me already for a long time. And they're the ones I was talking about, how they always want to go with me to the next level. So they'll be in the group too, to support each other, because they'll have experience as well.
Sounds like an amazing experience. So there's a lot of support and a lot of people, a lot of loving people. And it just, it sounds really amazing. It sounds like lots of fun too. I mean, getting to meet people that are the same like-minded as you are, and to also be able to ask questions when they're going through their awakenings. It's things that they don't understand, and just to have this support group. I mean, wouldn't that have been amazing back then? When that happened to you, had you had a group that you could talk to people and wow, that instead I was with you. I was always looking and trying to find things about all of the stuff that was happening to me, so yeah, it's pretty cool.
Well, that's part of the reason why I knew that this was my mission, is because my frequency and part of my mission is graceful transformation. And so going through a spontaneous Kundalini awakening is not graceful. And it was it's graceful for me. I was lucky, but it's not a graceful thing. And so to actually be able to create a program where I'm taking people step by step so that they have time to integrate each step, and to have the support, and to have the coaching, and to have a community. Yeah, for sure, I would have loved that. But that's why I created it, because it didn't exist.
Exactly. The best teachers are the ones that are doing what they needed when they were coming up. You know what I mean? Exactly. It sounds like a really amazing class. Do you have like any a short meditation or something that you could do that's maybe 5 or 6 minutes long, that you could give them a little bit of a taste of some of the things that you're going to do?
Well, I could do like a shortened version of the triple flame.
Oh, that would be amazing. Okay, so I'm going to pop off here and I'm going to let you go ahead and do that.
Okay. So closing your eyes, taking a few deep breaths, and really setting the intention to be fully in your body. And giving your mind the instruction to stand back and be the silent observer of this meditation so that it may serve this meditation when we're done. So stand back and be quiet. Letting your emotional body surrender into peace. Opening up your heart. And you can repeat this after me. This is the I am invocation so that you can connect with your I am presence, which is your creative authority. And you can repeat this. I am all that is. I am all that is. I am all that is. I am divine infinite light. I am divine infinite love. I am divine infinite wisdom. I am divine creative power. I am the creator of my reality and the source of my creations. I am that. I am. And just letting that fill up your body, expand to fill up your energy field, and expand to fill up a sphere 8 feet in all directions. And focusing on your heart space and calling forward the triple flame. And so this is a combination of divine light, divine love, and divine creative power. So it's a yellow flame of divine light, a pink flame of divine love, and a blue flame of divine creative power. And that's in your heart. And now you're going to let it expand to the size where it includes your throat chakra and your solar plexus. It expands again to include your third eye and your sacral chakra. It expands again to include your crown and your root. And it expands again to include your soul star above your head and the earth star below your head, your feet. And now we're going to circulate that flame. So bringing it down to your root and breathing it up your spine and then down the front of you and up your spine and down the front. And just breathing with it. I like to inhale it up my spine and exhale it down. And it circulates. And we're going to keep it going. And we're going to create another circuit. And it's going to go up the right side of your body and down the left. And up the right and down the left. And we're giving it the command to purify the meridian pathways. Purify, purify, purify the meridian pathways. So just breathe with it. You see these two circuits going, front and back, side to side. Purify the meridian pathways. And then we're going to let that continue. We give it the command to continue until completion. And we're going to anchor this in, this triple flame energy. And you can repeat this after me. Anchor, lock, and seal. Recalibrate, align. Balance and harmonize. For graceful integration and full expression in my physical reality and all relevant dimensions. So be it, and so it is. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And that will continue until it's complete.
That was beautiful. Very high vibrational. I could really feel the energy. That was really amazing. So if you guys would like to experience this in a class situation in a more expanded way, then you really should sign up for Suzanna's class, because this is really amazing, and it's going to help you heal and move forward and to live the highest timeline in your life. I truly believe that. It sounds like an amazing do you call it a program? Amazing program. So I'm really excited, and I'm really excited to meet you, Suzanna.
Thank you.
And hopefully maybe in the future we'll do something else together.
I'd like that.
I really, yeah, because I feel like we have similar, backgrounds and similar things. It's really cool to meet someone who works in the mind, in the consciousness as I do. And so is there anything else that you want to add?
Well, I just, the website is SuzannaKennedy.com/SUR, capital SUR, all caps. And if you want to email me and you have any questions, it's Susanna@SuzannaKennedy.com. So, yeah.
Yeah. Well, this was an amazing time that we spent together, and I just think that there's so many different programs out there, but this one really sounds so amazing. It sounds like you can really change your life with a program like this. So I really think that people should really look into taking this class, and I think that you really will change your life by doing that. Whenever you are able to release all of the traumas and density and the things that you've been carrying around, you always raise your vibrations so much higher and your whole life changes. It's just life changing. And so I hope that people will come and, check out her class and I felt really blessed to have Suzanna on today. And I hope we do something else together. It'd be really amazing. Um, what a blessing. So uh, definitely check out her website at SuzannaKennedy.com. And until next time, namaste.
Namaste. Thank you. Thank you, Bonnie.